I was sitting at my desk and I was doing something, working on something, and I began to say, God, I'm tired. Welcome to the place where visionaries, leaders, and kingdom builders come when you are in the alley, as I help you discover the keys to unlock your next level of clarity, strategy, and confidence. I'm Dr. LaTanya. Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, Dr. LaTanya Moore, here to help you discover the keys to unlock your next level, especially if you're in the alley. Listen, one thing I know for sure is that if you are a visionary, there have definitely been times of you being in the alley. And so learning who you are is so important, as well as moving quickly, swiftly in the instructions of who you are and what you're called to do is important as well, right? It's called obedience, okay? Obedience is moving when God told you to move and moving into that thing with confidence and authority, really. But one of the things that I've learned is that it didn't always happen that way, right? This journey of being a visionary is just that, a journey. And so I can't expect you to be the one who jumps up and does something so quickly, because you might not be in that place yet, right? But one of the things that is important is that you learn where you are, okay? And so I want to make sure that we really spend some time together, okay, in this video, really taking inventory of where you are and really helping you self-identify where you might be on your visionary journey. Let's just talk about visionary for a second. When I think about visionary, I think about anyone whom God has given a dream, God has given a vision, God has given an idea, right? Anyone that He is called to create. And really, that should be everyone. Why? Because you were created in His image, and He is a creator, which means that you as well are a creator. That means that you have the ability to be creative as a creator, okay? And so you're a visionary. God is giving you something. You know those ideas and aha moments that just pop in your mind, they pop in your spirit? That is not by coincidence. That is because God placed it there, right? To help you understand that there's something that He needs you to do. And we understand as visionaries that, listen, we try to take it all on, and we can't. And so I've learned that the journey of being a visionary really has several phases. And I want to cover 3 of those phases today, because I know that you might be in one of these places. So I want to help you understand where you might be, okay? There are 3 phases of a visionary, or 3, categories of a visionary. I start to dig into these terms, and God began to give me these terms, this language, which really helped me understand my target audience, right? And as God did that, I started to realize that I had several different people who were really under me, who were following me, who really desired what I had. However, I hadn't done a good job of categorizing them, right, as visionaries. And so God began to give me this language, and He began to show me exactly what you all were going through in order to then create the structure and the strategy, right, to work closely with you. And so I know that these 3 things came straight from heaven, okay? That's where they came from. The first is builder, okay? The first type of visionary is a builder. Now, you might be a builder if you have been laying the bricks, if you have gotten the idea, if you have gotten the vision, if you have gotten the dream, and you're like, okay, listen, I need to lay this foundation, I need to lay these bricks, I'm gonna go ahead and start putting some things together. You are excited about laying the bricks. You are excited about, putting things together, right? You are building a brand, you might be building a community, and you are laying this foundation, okay? And it's coming at a cost. It is coming at a cost. You're realizing that in order to build this community, in order to build this business, in order to build this brand, I gotta put some things aside. I have to learn more. I have to dig in more. I have to pray more, right? I really have to have my hands to the plow. I have to be consistent. And so if you're a builder, you're realizing that I'm laying this foundation, I'm laying these bricks, and I really got to dive in here. This is also a time in this journey of being a visionary, especially if you're in this building season where you might begin to feel like, I don't know right now, like I am not as clear as I thought I was, right? Especially as you start to learn and grow. You might even be feeling like, listen, I need some ongoing education. I remember my time as a builder. Baby, I was on YouTube regularly, okay? I was Googling stuff regularly. I was going to TikTok and Instagram regularly. Why? Because I wanted to learn, right? And there were some skills and things that I felt like I needed. And so I was going places to find them. As a builder, you might need some ongoing education and some things that are going to really help you to build. However, one of the things that I also realized about this building phase in this journey is that you often feel alone. Somehow, some way, you start to feel like you've been separated from the people who are around you. It almost feels like you're building by yourself. It feels like you're the one who is staying up late nights. It feels like you're the one who understands the language. It feels like you're the only one who understands the goal. And so that building phase becomes lonely. You need clarity. You need clarity that is going to bring and ensure that you have a clear path to take. The other thing that you really need as a builder during this phase, oh my goodness, is community. It's someone who understands you. It's a community of people who know that they're building as well, so that you don't have to think about if you're doing this thing alone, right? You need someone who understands that language and understands that, like, we're all in this thing together. And so you might need that as well. Another thing that you often need in the building phase when you are a true builder and you are laying the foundation is ongoing learning. Yeah, you need tips, you need tricks, you need strategies, you need in-depth, conversations that really bring you what you need, right? Really help you learn whatever that next step is. I had no idea that I was going to have to be a marketer. I was going to have to learn sales. I was going to learn how to write copy. I was going to have to learn how to do social media. I was going to have to learn how to do messaging. Oh my God. Nobody told me this as a builder. And so as I started to build my community, as I started to build my platform, I started to realize, like, there are lots of missing pieces here, right? And so you need to know all those things as a builder. So if you're a builder, make sure you comment builder so I'll know that I'm talking to you. The next really type of visionary, okay, is called architect. Architect, right? So you were a builder, you moved up into this architect space. What does it really mean to be an architect? Being an architect means that you've been building for a while, you've laid your foundation, you've laid your bricks, but baby, you are ready to create some blueprints. You've realized that building alone is not it. And you graduated into this architect. I will never forget the day that the Lord told me I was an architect. I was sitting at my desk and I was doing something, working on something, and I began to say, God, I'm tired.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
I was so tired. It felt like I was doing everything by myself. And so I heard the Lord tell me, that's because you're building and I've called you. I've moved you into an architect. That means that you are to create blueprints and pass them to the builders. Oh, ain't nobody told me nothing. Like, did I miss the minute? Because I was still building when I was supposed to be moving into this architect space. When you are an architect, you start to realize that you can't do things on your own, and you start to realize that you have to begin to create some blueprints. You might be in position for your next launch, okay? There is something that you are launching, maybe a product, a program, an event, and what you start to realize as an architect is that you need a blueprint. Yep, period. You need a blueprint. You might even be feeling like, I gotta make sure that I connect these dots. Like, I'm brained up in one thing over here, and there's a brained up over here, but I need to make sure that all of these dots connect. And so when you start to connect those dots, you start to see the full picture, right? And it comes together. When you are an architect, you need a few things. You need a blueprint and you need a launch plan or a launch strategy, right? You also, as an architect, really start to need builders or destiny helpers around you to really help you implement the blueprint, really help you implement, that launch plan, or maybe even help you create it, right? And so you start to realize the people that you need around, okay? That's so important as well. Now, If you have moved on up like the Jeffersons and you are a developer, pat yourself on the back. Because when you become a developer, remember, you were building at first, you were laying the foundation in the bricks. Then you moved on up to architect and you said, listen, not only did I lay the bricks, but now it is time for me to put the foundation in place and the blueprint and the plan in place, right? So I can pass it on to some builders. But when you've stepped into developer, this stage or this type of visionary is a whole different ball game. You've been at this thing for a little while. You're normally a high level thinker, a high level strategist. You are a high level and you've been working with people for a while as well, right? You built some blueprints before even. But now you realize that what got you here will not get you there. Nope, it will not. Why? Because the same old thinking and the same old mindset and the same old habits and the same old things, they have changed the trajectory of where you're going. And you realize that this is the place where you're in this critical moment and you are in the alley. Yeah. You are in between building phases. You're trying to figure out what to sustain and what to keep, but you're also trying to figure out how to build the next thing, maybe even what to tear down over here. And if you're a developer who is in this place, you need a few things as well. You need accountability. Why? Because you got to have somebody to save you from yourself. Oh my goodness. If not, you're going to continue to kind of go in those same cycles and those same patterns. And you're not always the one to even identify what those patterns might look like, sound like, feel like, or those experiences that are really having their way might be like in your life. And so you need accountability. You also need a guide, okay, to help you to move outside of that alley space. And so one of the things that's important is that you have this ongoing experience where you're not only building, but you're becoming. Oh, you're not only building, but you're becoming, right? It's this merger of the two and knowing that, yep, I'm going to put some things in place. Yep, I'm going to create these blueprints, but I also have to be the person to decide that I'm going to do something different in my mindset. I'm going to do something different in my spirit. I'm going to do something different as I show up every single day to lead the people whom God has called me to serve. I'm sitting here thinking about Moses right now and how Jethro came into his life as his father-in-law and started to lay out a blueprint for him so that he can delegate. And oftentimes that is what we experience as developers. Why? Because we are building and we want to build, right? We want to put these things in place, but we also have to become. And Moses had to start becoming a different person. He had to start becoming a person who could, like Jethro told him, put different people in place, delegate, right? Make sure that that you are rising up as a leader and putting people in place who can actually build and carry out the assignment. Are you a builder? Are you an architect? Are you a developer? I really want to know where you are right now on your visionary journey, because if you are any of these things right now on this journey, I'm hoping that I'm bringing some language to some of the things that you might be experiencing. So I want to remind you how important it is to really tap in to everything that God has called you to be during these seasons, no matter where you are. Why? Because you cannot afford to shrink back on who you are and where God has called you to be. So I want you to really think about the type of visionary that you are, because no matter what type you are, listen, over here, we have something to serve you. One of the things that I know for sure is that God has put me in position and He has placed me here for such a time as this, so that I might serve builders, so that I might serve architects, and so that I might serve developers. And that means I have something that is going to help you. So make sure you, one, hit subscribe if anything here resonated with you, and if you begin to think about yourself in a different way, right? Because there's more where that came from. So much more. And make sure that you go to the link in the description. One thing you'll see there is the opportunity to schedule a call, because one thing I know for sure is that it's important to have the support and the guidance. And so I want you to be able to have those tools, those resources that are in the description, so that you can move forward freely, okay, knowing who you are and standing firm in who you are. There's no rush. There is no rush to get to the next level, right? But when you start to move alongside what God is calling you to do in this season and you steward it well, you will naturally begin to move into that next season, okay? Listen, I'm so proud of you. No matter where you are in your journey, I am proud of you. I'm proud of you because you said yes. And you stood up to say, listen, I'm going to do what you called me to do, God. I'm going to steward the people that you called me to steward. And I'm going to show up like you sent me. Okay? So remember, you got the keys. Let's do this because you're called to be a builder, an architect, or a developer. Visionary, you got this. Let's go.